Quick mic test. Quick audio test with I don't have an audio testing. We'll get it when we get into the game. Anyway, hello people. Whew. We're back with this thing. Chapters 3 and 4 of this weird, mature, and yo-yo like visual novel. No, I do not have my own car yet, Alex. I drive a family car. Of course you do. You're an artist. Yutake. I'll call you that instead of your real name, if that's okay with you. I'll be right back. Yeah, I never noticed how this music gets so disturbing. Let's get back to this. Chapter 3, An Unexpected Encounter. Here we go. This stream is a continuation of the last one in the night. So if you don't want to be spoiled, go watch that one. It's a visual novel about these two people, a man and a woman, who... Or you could put it that way, Alex, a steamy erotic story. Let's just call it like that, and let's just describe it like that and call it a day. I had hoped to never see her again. And for the better part of 2 years, it turned out pretty much that way. I might have glanced at someone with similar features once or twice during that time, but I simply avoided coming closer to that particular person in order to escape the chance of an encounter. I had graduated from college, and was now working for a company for less than a year. I diligently focused on my work the same way I did during my time at school. Even though I didn't have any ambition, the way I did my work mechanically like a machine was something to be proud of about, supposedly. At least, that's how my paycheck saw the whole thing. How can you not see the game? Oh, shoot! Yeah, I freaking forgot to do something. Luckily, we got no visuals right now, so let me just get you to the game. Sorry about that. Thanks for the warning, but I think the game gives it... I will say, since there was no visuals or anything in that beginning section, I'll probably keep going from where I was at before I had to stop to change the scene. Unless I can do a No, I can't. No, I can't. I can't do that. I have to load from where I was. I had hoped to never see her again, and for the better part of 2 years, blah blah blah, yada yada. I already said this stuff. My life seemed to have been pretty much set in stone by then. I even finally found a girlfriend who could deal with my boring self and my even more boring life. I had someone to fuck a couple of times during the week to efficiently evacuate my stress. I didn't love her. I think she knew it. Did she simply turn a blind eye? Hold on. Did she simply turn a blind eye? For 3 updates trying to deal with language issues, translations and stuff, there are still a little bit of mistakes here and there, but no matter. Or was she too using me for her own interests? Doesn't really matter. I don't think she loved me either. Not that I think I would love myself even if I was forced to. It was a night like many others. That particular client loved to meet in a peculiar environment, even if it was only to speak business. Not that he was the only one with such special requests, and to be honest, it didn't bother me all that much. It was the 3rd time maybe that I would come to this place. Normally, we would meet on a Tuesday. This is the place for you, Yo-Yo. But because of some unforeseen inconveniences, he decided that we should meet on the following Thursday instead. It was a place that could be attributed to the category of adult entertainment. Yet it wasn't a traditional strip club like most men would think of when hearing the term adult entertainment. No, it was a place a bit more classy. But don't misunderstand, alright. The theme around the whole establishment was very much sex indeed, but instead of the term prostitutes, the woman would bear the name of hostesses. And instead of dancing nude around a pole indecently, they would simply serve drinks and food to the clients, all the while sitting around the table to fake interests on the client's pathetic life. Some people might probably wonder why such a business would be categorized as something similar to a strip club. But what would you need to understand here is that every woman serving in that particular establishment can be bought for the night. The only thing is, you need to pay the high price, alright. Those women are high-quality prostitutes, after all. So I was with the man, speaking of everything except meaningful topics, until the hostess came in. She started asking if we needed anything to drink, but became agitated in the middle of her speech all of a sudden. Probably because she finally understood with whom she was dealing with. Because obviously it was her! She was there in front of me. Those eyes, this smile. I could hardly believe it. She was as beautiful as ever. And with what she was wearing, a tight, sensual black dress, it was hard not to think of anything else but sex when looking at her. Those dark urges that made their apparition 2 years ago, the vulgar and evil passion which had driven my mind completely wild back then, everything that I felt on that single night was rekindled instantly. The woman I thought might have been a virgin 2 years ago was working as a prostitute. For how long has she been doing this? Again, she made a fool out of me. I fought those urges the best I could on that night, thinking how wrong it would be to subject those evil intentions onto such a pure and delicate woman. But in reality, she was sane from the very beginning. She probably even wanted the damn thing, forcing me to pay after the fact, probably. Reminds me of that rest. Oh my god. There used to be one of those near me on Big Beaver in Rochester. It got shut down. I wonder why. How sly of her. How fucking sly of her. looking down on me like that. This time... Can't we speak for a bit? Oh my gosh, you bought her! You bought her! You actually bought her! Dang! She said, extremely tense. It was now a full hour after meeting her at the bar. I had chatted with her for a bit, not hiding my complete disinterest in what she was saying, only looking at her body in complete lust. I didn't say anything about her profession. Perhaps she thought I was mindful or something. Well, I betrayed that thought alright. I think everything that he's thinking about in the chapter is what happens in the next. From chapter 2, if you remember last time, chapter 2, the main character wanted to screw her, but decided to keep those ambitions aside. And then this chapter, it's already happened to her. Maybe she's planning what he is, but hey. And still hates the main character. What? Maybe. But I definitely know that the main character hates her still. But maybe that hatred back is a possibility. Yeah. I simply said to her, let's finish the night at the hotel. And that's where we are now. We've literally just taken the first step into the room. And I've already ordered her to take off her clothes. We've just arrived, she pointed out. Well, we should drink some wine to loosen up the mood, don't you think? I don't believe this. That cunt has been spreading her legs for dirty old men for God knows how long, yet she's reluctant to the idea of undressing in front of me? How long is she going to insult me like this? I don't give a shit about your opinion on the matter. But, he interjects. Think about the title. But how would he be able to believe that she's gotten over him if all he's thinking about is his hatred of her still? Even now. Oh, because he's blind. I said to fucking undress already. Isn't that fucking clear to you? I start shouting frantically. We're both standing in front of one another with only 4 feet separating us apart. She's visibly agitated by my sudden behavior. Thankfully enough, the exit is behind me, so she can't escape easily. She does as I asked, and she's visibly pained by the fact, while I look at her every movement with those ever so filthy eyes of mine. I'm so absorbed by her that I almost forgot how to breathe. Oh, what's this? Is this supposed to be your cute side or something? How disgusting. To my surprise, she's not wearing a G-string. She's wearing ordinary panties with some ridiculous motifs on it. Some kind of running shoes or something. Yeah, I wear, well, you don't like it? I sneer exaggeratedly and as an answer to her question. Oh. Her eyes fall down and I start enjoying myself. Humiliating her might very well be what I needed to finally cope with myself. But while those pleasant thoughts start to take form inside of my mind, I finally realize something. Took off her panties alright, but what is she? Hey, what the fuck are you doing? Stares at the ground, shyly. I Stop hiding yourself like that. I want to see every little detail of this slutty body of yours. Aren't you supposed to be proud of it? Showing it to every loser you meet for just a few empty bucks? Oh gosh. If this is gonna happen like this, I might need to maybe... I don't know. I have to deal with this in my own way. She was both hiding her breasts and her crotch with her arms and hands, as though she was undressing in front of a man for the very first time. Because maybe this was like her first damn job? I don't know. How long is she going to mock me like this? I don't want it this way. Not while you don't... Huh? I walk up to her, enraged. Is she telling she can't do it with me? That? Even though she's literally selling her body and shame away every single day, she can still refuse me of all people? How fucking insulting. And I was even trying to keep a minimum of respect, but now? I pushed her hard on the bed. She fell onto it without any means of fighting back. But even as she's lying on top of the bed completely defenseless, she still tries the best she can to hide herself from me. As if I was the most disgusting and vile monster she ever saw. Enough! I climbed the bed without showing any restraint. The fact that she still hasn't cried out for help surprises me immensely, as I, without a shred of a doubt, must look extremely terrifying right now. In no time at all, I'm on top of her, desperately trying to force her arms up on the top of her head in order to pin down her movements. I finally achieved my end without too much difficulty the moment I remembered that delicacy was not in the dictionary of the monster she thought of me. It's no one's fault except her own. She made me who I am. It cannot be helped. She should be asking for forgiveness. If she hadn't laughed at me for all these years, this situation would have never came into existence. Something inside of me was shouting those things to me, encouraging me in going further. At last, with her arms out of the way, I could finally take one good look at her body. And it happened. Thank you, no need to explain that. At the very moment, I was already at my limit and ready to explode. My eyes licked her all the way from the bottom to the top. Those long and delicate legs, her slender arms and stomach, those huge and pale breasts, and then her face. Her face without that smile. Her face, which was bright red, contorted in a sorrowful expression. She was crying. Oh, for that she was. But those were not tears out of fear for her life. She didn't ask me to let go of her, or to at least be gentle with her. If this is making you uncomfortable, think of what I'm going through. Having to go out of my comfort zone and actually read the text in its raw format. My parents might be still awake. I don't know if they're hearing me or not. What if I are? I'm definitely dead after this stream. Unless I go to bed after they do. No, they're not doing the actual. They had their last kid in 2011, and since it was a woman after 3 boys, me being one of them, they decided to not go on. Gladly. She was just silently crying, as if she had given up. She wasn't scared at all of me. She was disappointed. Of me? Of her? Of this situation? I have no idea. But why was I even trying to understand anyway? At that point, I had stopped myself. For what reason? I don't know. Her behavior was hypnotizing me. I didn't know what to think of it. Isn't this what I was wishing for? It was my fantasy, wasn't it? To take away this smile of hers. This happiness. But now I realize there was never any happiness in that smile to begin with. Our eyes met. Those big, brown eyes full of distress. I could drown myself inside them right then and there with how tearful they were. They were passionate, and they held a darkness darker than my own. Wait. More than his own. That's... It's a recurring theme. I swear I saw some others in the last stream. I'm sure it's not gonna come up. Lest I wouldn't even be able to play it. Surprisingly, this didn't even ask for an age limit, meaning that the only thing that is really inappropriate in this game is just the thought of it all. Noticing my slight hesitation, she took it as an opportunity to mutter out something. Something faint. Something almost inedible. Something incredible. I always loved you. Whoa! 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 Why? They say love comes in mysterious ways, Yo-Yo. This time it came from negativity. I think a better way to say it was, look at this line. I loved you, I always loved you. You gotta think back to the first chapter, the first moments of the first chapter, where Cassandra came in. It's mainly her beginning interact. A girl likes a boy. Yes! Yes, yes, yes! Cassandra loved Tim in the beginning, like elementary school, so she teased him by being better than him at everything, but all that caused was his hatred. No, I don't think he missed chapter 1. I think it was there for it. I don't know. But if not, he had the right idea. What the fuck is this cunt babbling about? Yet, though I didn't want to hear her bullshit, she kept on opening her mouth and closing it as though she was saying intelligible things. I wanted to at least say it to you. I want you to know how I feel. I know how much you hate me. It's so easy to see. But I absolutely needed to get this thing off my chest. Now I'm ready. Just please, stop looking so sad like that. You don't need to get out of your way to make me understand. You don't need to act anymore. He wasn't scared at all. I was nothing to her. Those eyes were telling me this. I started laughing dryly like a maniac. She's continuously harassing me even in this situation. She saw through me with ease. I was never a match for her. I let go of her dolly, get off of the bed slowly, and turn away from her, completely defeated. Still, I was laughing. Like a broken record, I was laughing. Gee. I tried to speak, but I guess I'm not totally prepared for it yet. I take another breath and try another time. Get out. There's no use anymore. All I ever wanted was for her to feel as hopeless as I do. But now that I've noticed that her hopelessness was greater than even my own, there was no point in doing this anymore. There was nothing left for me to take away from her anymore. There was never anything for me to take away from her in the first place. How fucking pathetic. I don't wanna. She said with decisiveness. I didn't see her. I didn't have the courage to look at her anymore, but I knew what kind of face she was making. Get out, you fucking bitch! To that, he hugged me from behind. It was an awkward hug, something normally only an inexperienced teenage boy would uncomfortably do to his first girlfriend. Yet I felt her strength, her determination. How irritating. The thing is, we're only getting his side of the story. We have no idea what's going on with her. We could always assume that the assumptions that Tim is making are true, but that would only give us only a fraction of her story. We don't get why she left school, probably because of her boyfriend, but I don't know. We don't get why... We don't get why she went over to the quote-unquote Hooters. Perhaps that's the lie then. That she loves him. I turn around violently. I take her perfect visage roughly in my left hand, put strength on my hold, push her on the wall beside us, all the while making sure she feels the pain with every motion I make. Don't you understand? If you stay here, I'll break you. My face was extremely close to hers. I could have literally eaten her all up right that instant. Yet she didn't flinch. She didn't look away from my fully dilated pupils. She didn't show any sign of pain, even though she was definitely feeling quite some. She was now showing me her true self for the first time in all those years. And at that very moment, that's exactly what I want you to... Whoa! My gosh. That's exactly what I want you to do. I noticed that, out of the both of us, I was the one who was really frightened. Are we sure this is a girl that's... Yes. Maybe 60 at this point. Is gray the color of lollies now? I guess that's correct. Weirdest chapter by far. The explanation I didn't... I don't remember much about that night. Or maybe I just don't want to remember. The only thing I can say for sure is that there was something I found out about myself on that day. Something that I probably shouldn't have. As I was about to leave the hotel, it must have been around 5 a.m. the next morning, Cassandra stopped me casually and said, I want you to come back, see me next week, alright? And my reply to that was, not a chance, idiot. She flashed me a smile nonetheless. I wonder if she knew. I wonder if she knew she already had me. After that, I met with her on the same day, once a week. We would drink together at that bar she's working at, and we would always finish the night at the same hotel right after. It must have been around the third week that I finally decided to ask about it. What's the it? She was speaking to me at great length, like always, just after having sex. I was sitting on the corner of the bed, listening to her half-heartedly, while sucking on a cigarette. Wait. You eat 4 times a month? 4 times a month? I'm surprised she ain't preggers by now. I'm surprised she ain't pregnant. Yeah, I was a smoker by then. Took the habit out of nowhere. Probably to look even more pathetic than I already was. We should go see it together. They say it's the movie of the decade. Aw, she got glasses! Or at least I think those are glasses. Yep. Shut up, I said to her brusquely in reply. Yet, I wonder if you'd pay for my entry fee. I bet you would. You're that type of man, after all. She was laughing and smiling like always. I first thought she would stop acting this way the moment she finally showed me her true self, but she betrayed my expectation. She's exactly the same, whether we're alone or not. The only time when she behaves differently is when we're having sex. She would fixate me, always in the eyes, with a frightening passion. Normally, I'm the only one who's cold and violent, but when we're having sex, she could very well be seen as disturbed as I am. I wondered then why she was always smiling. Was it fake, or was it not? Even I, who knew her better than anyone else, had no clue. How could someone as empty as her smile so thoroughly like this? I badly wanted to know. But why? Why was I even involving myself with the likes of her? It's not like my feelings had changed all of a sudden. I still very much hated the thing she is. I didn't understand myself anymore. Still, I needed to know. So without thinking much, I asked her something for the first time since almost forever. I asked her something I wish I hadn't. Why did you end up this way? She was surprised. Obviously, I had disturbed her while she was speaking. But her surprise didn't come from that fact. She looked at me and smiled at me silently for a time. But not with that smile. A smile as though she had won something. A smile as though there was hope somewhere somehow. She was just genuinely happy, I think. Or maybe there was something with that smile that I didn't understand back then. All I knew was that she was waiting for that question. So she told me her tale. Some stereotypical bullshit I didn't want to hear. Her father had a lot of money when she was younger. He was some kind of successful businessman or investor or whatever. I didn't listen all that well. I don't know, but we're getting backstory here, so I'm interested. Rich fathers are usually the most strict. The ones that would be the most cruel. So I can get why she is that hopeless. I didn't. But he had enough money to get by, was the term she, whatever that meant. And in 5th grade, out of nowhere, Cassandra started showing interest in her studies. So much so that she was at the top of her class every following year. Seeing her growing up to become such an outstanding woman, her father decided to invest in her by starting paying for her later education. Some kind of prestigious university or something like that. Didn't even know you could pay for such a thing so early in the game. Anyway, now for the plot twist. Her father pretty much lost everything by trying to invest in some real estate market bullshit. Wrong time, wrong place. That's what they always say. Anyway, so sure enough, now that he was poor as shit, he started thinking about the investment he made on his daughter. The problem is, such an investment takes a really long time to pay off. That, and the fact that it's your fucking daughter, you piece of shit. She deserves at least that much. But anyway, he kinda started mistreating her. Knew it! By blaming his sorry ass on her failure to graduate sooner. And by that time, the fucker got his feet even dirtier by gambling away the little he had to subsist. So in the end, she was forced to quit school and started working. At least, the good man who her father owed money to was kind enough to show her a high-paying job she literally couldn't refuse. And that's pretty much it. Now for my test of my fucking conscience. If I hadn't started forcing my ideal of rivalry upon her, would she still have ended up like this? Or better yet, even if she did, couldn't I have done something for her? I mean, in high school I kinda noticed that something was strange, but did nothing nonetheless. So is it my fault? Oh my gosh, you're finally feeling sorry, I think. Maybe. And so what? It didn't affect me in the slightest. Never mind. Not in the slightest. Never heckin' mind. Yet I still wish I hadn't asked her this. One of the last things he was always saying to me before he died was, "You're the golden egg that never hatched. The definition of useless." I get up from the bed. I need to go now, I said, though I didn't really need to. That fast? But I want to be with you, and you paid for the whole night, and... She was sulking, puffing her cheeks like a child. If I weren't an asshole, I would probably have found her behavior cute. But my only thought to that was... You're disgusting. I took my keys off the coffee table and left, her words still hanging. You'll come back next Thursday, right? Closing the door behind me, I stayed for a time there, motionless. My hands were clenched tightly in the form of a fist. I was frustrated for some reason. If I had stayed for a minute longer, those fists would have probably been thrown at her. Fuck. I had a hard time understanding myself. If it hurt so much staying around her, why was I always coming back to this place? Am I yearning for this? This pitiful excuse for a relationship? I had a vague idea as for the reason behind my illogical behavior, but I didn't want to think it true. Because this would mean my whole life was even more of a joke than I first thought it was. Wow, chapter 4 ended that quickly? I might do another... Chapter 4 ended that quickly? Darn it! I was really hoping to go on for longer. No. If you recall back in the second chapter, he stood up for her after she left high school. After when all those rumors were going about, remember? It was the thing that made her blush and have those wide eyes. Huh? I'm gonna do the fifth chapter. That was way too short. That was way too short of time. The seventh week marked a change in this stupid routine of ours. By then, we were already no longer meeting at her workplace. Instead, we would simply meet directly at our hotel room, which means we could see each other at a more appropriate time than in the middle of the week. And I would no longer have to pay for her fees as well. And this I found very shady indeed. Because the reason we only saw each other on Thursday was because she worked on only that particular day. But that doesn't make any sense, does it? How is she able to subsist for herself if she only works once a week? Sure, she may have another job somewhere, or more like, she definitely must have. But every time I ask her, she simply denies it. And I won't go on my way to get the answer out of her. I don't care enough for that to happen. But it's still nagging me somehow. Need a Z-pack? Like some sleep? Not yet. I entered our room, nonchalantly, I think. That's how it's pronounced. Okay, Google. How do you spell nonchalantly? Okay, Google. How do you spell nonchalantly? Okay, it's nonchalantly, I guess. I don't get why it's pronounced that way, but okay. Like I always did. And she was waiting for me on the couch at the far back of the room while looking at her phone. Like she always did. Oh, you brought us food. You're so diligent. I hope you didn't forget a fork this time around. She throws herself at the bag I was carrying like the bundle of energy that she is. I'm sorry. I can't get over the fact that her area is literally bulging out. That's not usual for a woman. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm laughing at it either. Exactly! All women are queens! Why am I laughing? Probably looks like a black hole suit. Oh! But we can obviously see that she was probably a little bit like Natsuki after her dad lost all that money from that stupid gamble and started torturing her like she was clearly a trap right there. I don't know. She throws herself at the bags like I was carrying the bundle like the bundle of energy that she is. Hey, this is my lunch, you idiot! You say this, yet there are 2 bags. You're so not honest with yourself. Man, she's such a kid. Your fork is in... Wait a minute. Huh? She doesn't look my way. She's too engrossed in searching the content of the bag frantically with question marks hovering on top of her head. Or at least, that's what she's trying to make me think. I dropped my keys and jacket on the floor right then and there. I took her right arm forcefully enough so for her expression to contort in pain. With my right hand, I pushed her chin upward to better see the features of her face. What is it? We're not even in bed yet. You're so naughty today. She says teasingly. Shut up! She stops speaking instantly by my powerful words. Amazing typos! Amazing typos! Let me read what you just sent there. Oh, so her father emotionally abused her to make her feel regret for his fuck-ups. So he becomes a prostitute. These are the typos that make the grade. Oh my gosh. I softly brush around her left eye with my thumb. Her eye closes. Okay. Her yes closes instinctively by my touch, even if she applied makeup to hide it. It's still very much visible. I don't remember having done this to you. Who did this? This? It's nothing really. It doesn't hurt. See? She pushes through her fingers and cuts the corner of her left black eye. And though her words say otherwise, she still looks in pain the moment she applies pressure to the skin. Answer me! She simply looks down. almost ashamed of herself. Instinctively, I tried to put my hand on her waist to comfort her somehow. So you hate her, yet what? Good job. I do not need that music. And now you're gonna make music on the way down, are you? I'll wait. I'll wait. Go on. Go on, do the thing. Do a flip. My cat. But the moment my hand touches her body, I see her grimaces slightly. I take her shirt and lift it up without minding destroying the damn thing. And sure enough, there are dark marks all over her waist and belly. Marks that only a man could have done. Answer me, goddammit! Who did this to you? Well, she thinks carefully about her next words. You know, sometimes clients can get out of hand and... Which one? I don't know him. It was the first time I saw him and I don't remember his face. My grip on her only tightened up the more words she adds. Isn't your employer's job to make sure those things don't happen in the first place? Yeah, I'm wearing braces. It's not really what causes a slur. I think that's the way I've talked since I've existed. Even if that's the case, doesn't change the fact that I have a black eye, right? Please, let's just not talk about this, alright? I want to enjoy myself. I've literally been waiting for today all week. I didn't answer her, nor did I look her way. I was lost in thought. I didn't understand why I was so frustrated. It was uncontrollable, and I know I shouldn't act illogically, but doesn't mean you should know something that you'll automatically apply it to your thought process. Is this because you don't like this? I can try to apply more makeup if you want. I'm sure you won't notice it when we'll be having sex, so... I should let go of her. If I continue on adding pressure on her arm like that, it'll definitely swell up. Yet... Come. What? Are we leaving already? And what about the food? You can eat it in the car. Now come. I'm surprised the dark marks aren't that visible at the bottom of her waist. What's visible from the shirt she wears. I would think that the developers would at least have time to add those slight details in, seeing that they update the game 3 times over its development. But it'll be cold, and where are we going anyway? Far from all of this. Really far from all of it. Are we already... That was only 13 minutes! Oh my gosh, I need a long chapter at some point. I want to have content for tomorrow night. Actually, no I don't, because I'm planning on doing something at some point. No, that's in the afternoon. I already have the stream plans for tomorrow. In the afternoon, I'm planning on doing some Portal 2 with LT. And then in the evening, assuming that I get a long chapter at some point and there's still some content afterwards, I'll be finishing off this visual novel then. But I say a lot of work was put into this. It was on impulse. It had already been 2 hours since we left the hotel. Nice car details. I was driving in the middle of the night, not knowing still where this road was going to lead us. To your doom? She had stopped talking and asking me questions for a while now, only looking through the window motionlessly. Here's the thing. Did either of them get intoxicated? Yes, shout out to him, because he's also a small YouTuber, and one that's way more interested in the Valve series than I. When I stream with him tomorrow, I think you should definitely give some love to him. Go check out both sides of our stream. We'll probably be doing the cooperative testing initiative. Either that or challenging each other on the challenge modes. I already got a couple of things that I need to do to get past him. Yep, I'm getting competitive. She still hasn't touched her food yet. Was she mad, maybe? It was too dark for me to really see her expression from the angle of her face. Then turn on the car light, gosh darn you. Oh, I ran out of water. Still, I was curious about her thoughts right now. She, who never showed her true color, what lies under her carefree and good-natured She, who never showed her true color. What lies underneath her carefree and good-natured demeanor? Maybe something like me? But her silence was too good to be true. Soon, her mouth started moving again. You're really doing this, aren't you? Do you even know the impact of this choice you're about to make? Hey, I don't get a choice. This is the DDLC. I don't get choices and it all leads to your death. I don't care. Then why are you doing this if you don't care? I'm doing this because I can't stand seeing you like this anymore. That's why. Don't you understand that this life of yours is not worth living? If this continues on like this, they're going to what? Kill me? Break me? Why should you care? Shouldn't you be rejoicing? After all, you hate me. Shut up. But it's the truth, isn't it? Shut up. I shouted at her. I didn't want to have this conversation. I didn't even know the answer myself. All I knew is that I needed to get as far away as possible, as soon as possible. Is this because you feel responsible? Is that it? And I'm going to clear things up once and for all. It has nothing to do with you. Never had. This has always been my father's fault to begin with. This is not your responsibility. You understand? I'll be the one judging on that. They are the Mafia, Tim. And I owe them a lot of money. And if I disappear like this, they're going to pursue me and find me. And if at that time you're there with me, they're not going to let you off easily. They're going to... She stops talking. In the corner of my eye, I can see her tears rolling down her cheeks uncontrollably, as if the thought of my death alone was going to make her cry. Jimmy Hoffa? What of it? I can sense her powerful gaze on me the moment those words leave my mouth. Anger, Something I've never seen throughout her features. No matter how I treated her, it's now been triggered by those simple and trivial words. Don't you understand how dangerous this is? They're going to kill you. You have a girlfriend, don't you? I mean the ones that make ground like meat for burgers? Or juices for fruits? Oh, that's interesting. So it's like some of that Kingsman Golden Circle type stuff. Nah. Never seen Fargo. I believe it's a comedy or something like that. Hide body by putting it in a wood chip. Oh no. Don't tell me it was on. It was on, wasn't it? It had to be on. Because that would have added so much more stupidity to the decision. If you persist in trying to save me like this, you're going to throw away everything you've been trying to build your whole life. You can't sacrifice all of this for something as stupid as... My foot slammed the brake pedal with all its might. The scream of my tires stretched for a long 5 seconds, until the car finally stopped completely. Then I leaned on her, unlocked her door, and opened it in one single motion. If you don't like this, get out. We're still close to a bus station. You can probably manage to return to the city before morning. I've made my decision, and I don't plan for you to understand it. Responsibility? Towards whom? You? Don't make me laugh. I'm doing this for myself, alright? He muttered one single word. Liar. How stupid can you be? I ain't fucking lying, you dumb bitch. A girlfriend, a job, a life? I have no interest in those fucking things. I always felt completely empty. All this fucking painful life of mine has always been one big recurring joke. No, I've been waiting for this kind of opportunity all my life. It just so happens that it is tonight. Now, or you follow me and become my partner in crime, or you get the fuck out and return to that hell you proudly call your life. He looks at me in the eyes. Fargo wood chipper. Is it better than the Office fire drill? It probably is, but you should watch that one. The same way she always does when we're having sex. She has no smile, she has no expression, she has no happiness. The purity with which she's always been looking at the world around her is nowhere to be found. As if it was always but a fleeting illusion. This is the real her. She doesn't shift her cold gaze from me while closing her door slowly. I've waited for this my whole life, and there's no way I'm gonna let it get away from me like this. Let's go. Those are her words. Powerful without any hesitation. I don't say anything back. I'm not able to. Her determination seems dangerous somehow. So I just unconsciously started driving again, as though this whole conversation never took place. I break eye contact with her to focus on the road. Is this maybe what they call eloping? It's exciting. Eloping. Okay, Google. What's eloping? That's a fancy way of saying yes, whatever you said, Yo-Yo. The moment my eyes fall back on her, she has the most beautiful smile I've ever seen in this world. Ah! These are freaking short chapters! Eloping isn't no... How many chapters are in this game? I'm just gonna search that up right here now so I can tell if I can have enough content for the rest of the day if I go on until midnight. Hold on. Oh. This is supposed to be a less than 2-hour game. Still classified very short? How many chapters are in?
I had hoped to never see.
Oh! There are 14 chapters in this novel. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have enough content for another stream tomorrow. Let's continue! After driving for half a day, we finally stopped in a cheap motel to rest and regain some of our energy. At the same time, I took this opportunity to collect my thoughts. While this situation might have started as a brainless and impulsive act, keeping up with this attitude will only bring us down in the long run. In the end, we might need a good plan if we want a good shot at this. I first thought we had a good amount of time ahead of us, but this assumption was a big mistake of mine. By asking for a bit more details, I found out that Cassandra was living with another hostess from that bar. So even though she's working only once a week, the other girl will soon find out about her disappearance. I could have asked her to try and contact that girl, and maybe convince her to not to say a word to their boss, but this would have been too big a risk for only postponing the inevitable as a result. Ultimately, I think trusting someone will only trigger the start of our downfall. I look at her. She's carelessly sleeping beside me while I'm the one stressing out about all those things. She doesn't seem to care all that much since she showed me that determination of hers. Seriously, what am I doing? Getting out of my way for what? This? Sleeping in this cheap-ass bed, eating this disgusting convenience store food, this is all her! No, what am I thinking? No matter how I look at this, I choose to do this of all my volition. No, I choose to do this of my own volition, right? I shouldn't hold it against her. Still, I know, there's a darkness in my heart that I've yet to get rid of. That darkness was whispering to me to destroy her. So, did you choose where we're going, my love? Oh my gosh. She's into... Pop the question. He says shamelessly the moment we enter the car. Stop that, it's disturbing. Yeah, my body can handle it, I think. But we're eloping. I can at least tell you that much, right? No, we're not. Eloping would mean that we're about to wed, and we're clearly not. But I want to wed. I love you, and we're going to live together from now on, so... She puts her head on my shoulder while smiling brightly. Is this gonna prepare me for Dolly and the Frogs, Yo-Yo? Is this... You think this novel is gonna prepare me for all that? Not... Well, there goes my determination to watch the series. Well, it's this, but this is a whole other level. So yeah, since that's one level different, I guess that means I'll have a better shot at watching it and not feeling weirded out. Okay, let's do this. So what? There's no logic behind your words. And get off of me! I shake her off without any consideration for her feelings or even her well-being. Boo! You're no fun! She sticks out her tongue like a little kid before turning her attention towards the window, sulking. This is out of my comfort zone! Man, she's a handful. I've decided our destination. I've thought about it for a long time, and... What do you think of Las Vegas? She instantly looks back at me, sparkles in her eyes, like all those anime weird things. 16! Sorry, I had to correct it. But still doesn't change a thing. These eyes are not meant to be seeing these types of things, but I'm letting it happen anyway. So does that mean we're really going to get married after all? I've always wanted to go to Las Vegas. Back off. I've decided this out of convenience for us. Not for your little fantasy. Embrace the otaku culture. I knew how much she wanted to go there. She's talked about it more than once, so I might have taken that into account. But I'm not actually gonna say that, am I? But I don't understand. Shouldn't we try to go somewhere to some unknown villages instead of going to such a big city? Try and lay low or something? Aren't we asking to be found if we go there? Not exactly. The best place to hide a tree is inside a forest, right? Logically, when you think about someone trying to escape from a group like the Mafia, you think that this person is going to hide in some distant place, far away from urban civilization. That's exactly how his pursuers are going to think too. So naturally, they're going to first search those uncivilized areas. You understand where I'm going with this. That's not always the cliche, I believe. Sometimes there's this thing that happens where the woman or someone else has a tracker on them, and they use that to pursue them. And seeing that this is like in the modern day or something, since they have phones and cars and whatnot, and also this is America, I think trackers would be the best bet. Yeah, but while it does look all good on paper, doesn't mean it will go that smoothly. This place is known to be run by criminals, right? So it shouldn't be too far-fetched to think that they have ties to our pursuers. We're going to a small place, village or whatever, we're going to attract a lot of unwanted attention. They all know each other in those places, you know, and look at us. Not what we would call countryside people, are we? If you say so. She doesn't seem to buy it. Is she scared? She shouldn't be. One more thing. I need her to understand this perfectly. Else none of this is worth it. Even if they find us, it doesn't change anything, does it? In the end, both of our lives have never been worth living. I won't live my days in such a boring place as a village, or crawling in fear inside a hole somewhere. My life has been nothing but boredom already, so... She looked at me, clueless. Let's try and have some fun, shall we? Is that not what you've been doing with this fucky fuck or something? She regains that smile of hers so naturally. A beautiful, pure, and bright smile. That smile that I would have done anything to destroy before. I was now the source of its existence. For as much as he wanted to destroy her, I think this might turn out happy in the end. So long as I don't get a choice that would force me to have to save and replay a different path. I should feel flattered by this. I should. Yet, how disgusting. Clap, clap, clappity clap, clap, clap. We're already in chapter 8. It took us another day and a half to arrive at our destination. So 3 days all in all. Symbolic! Since it was on Friday. Symbolic! Night that we eloped. Probably not symbolic, more literal or something, just saying. Oh. Like Cassandra loved so much to say, we were now, obviously, Monday, late in the evening. The moment we've entered the core of the city, she became ecstatic. At every street corner, she would be like, "Oh," or look, it's so beautiful." Or again, "I want to go there, let's go there, alright?" And every time, I would just keep my eyes on the road, half listening to her, and when I feel like she's pestering me too much, I would simply say something like, "We need to find a place to crash first. Be patient, alright?" She was so excited about trivial things that I started wondering what kind of life she had led up until then. She was a prostitute, right? Then why do I feel so much like I'm with a kid somehow? Was it really a good thing to bring her with me? to bring her to such a place. One thing we didn't have to worry about, though, was our budget. I had lots of economy from my old part-time job as well as my current one. Well, current might not be the case anymore, but whatever. Since I lived my life up until then pretty much modestly, more like pathetically, I had more than enough for the both of us for quite a respectable amount of time. Obviously, the first place we decided to hit was the mandatory casino! I mean, that's pretty much all there is to see here, so... We've drunk a lot, and when I mean a lot, I mean we didn't as much as think of ever stopping throughout the night. So that number you were talking about, Alex, the one that you sent like 2 minutes ago, divide that by 2 maybe, that's how many beers they probably drank each, I don't know. They're dead. They're dead. Novel's over, goodbye. Never mind. She looked at everything with eyes full of curiosity. The old people on their slot machines would be very intriguing to her. She could gaze at them for 30 minutes without end. Old people, you say? And when I asked her if she wanted to try, she looked at me with a smile and said, "They look so pathetic, it's almost pitiful. But when you think about it, aren't we the same? We pass our lives routinely doing the same emotionless movements, forgetting even about the meaning behind it. I wonder, if there's a God, wouldn't he look at us with the same pity?" Oh, we're getting into religious stuff now. Even though I don't think you guys want my opinion on this, I'm gonna give it anyway, because why not? Think of it first. It's hard. I don't know, Alec, but by the looks of it, he's definitely psychologically younger than him. I walked closer to her, put my hand on her head, and looked at her silently. I wanted to somehow confront her, comfort her, but no word came to mind. That's when she continued. "As long as we're together, let's not do this, alright? I want this to be special. Us. You don't need to force yourself. You don't need to love me. But at least make sure we never forget, alright? Never forget the reason we're here right now." Alright. Never. I promise. Oh. I took her by the hand and led her throughout this maze of bright and colorful machines. But was it a good thing to ascertain her wish? I mean, not forgetting the reason why we're here would mean we would be always fearing to be found. Always running. Or maybe that's what she wanted. It would make the eloping a lot more interesting to her. So much for going through that maze. She would also look at me with great interest when playing blackjack. An interesting card game. Let's see if she catches 21 in this novel. She didn't know the rules. Okay, never mind. I have no hope for her. but the moment I explained it to her, she would try and help me sometimes. And she was smart, oh, for that she was. I almost forgot how she was at the top of our school once. To think that she has become so innocent. Or maybe she always has been. But the way I imagined her at the time, I thought she was a strong-willed woman that could do anything if she put her mind to it. But I couldn't have been more wrong. She was fragile, delicate, and pure. Any man would have been better for her. Any man. Yet she was unlucky enough to choose me out of all of them. Is it really luck if she chooses you? I believe if you think that you're that much of a letdown and she still chooses you, she's the one for you. She'll take you for whoever you think you are, and for whoever she thinks you are. Well, seeing that they were in the same grade, basically, seeing that they had similar classes every year, I would say they're about the same age. X divided by 2 plus 7. Yes, the minimum dating age. 20. Wait, what? 16 would give me 15. Oh! LOL! Look, even the ellipsis agrees with you. What? The moment we started to become really wasted was the moment everything started to slowly crumble. I had to go to the washroom because of the alcohol, obviously, and the instant I got out of it, I saw her speaking with another man. Well, okay, she wasn't speaking to him more than he was trying to hit on her. But whatever, her eyes were different than when she's with me. She had a stern expression, cold as ice. It was obviously she was trying to get rid of him, but he seemed persistent. I came up to them and asked her if she knew him. I don't. Oh, I think it's the one dude from high school. That would be a great way to tie back to the first chapter. I don't. He was actually about to leave. Right? Oh, so he's your boyfriend? Sorry, man, it's such a beautiful woman you have there. I couldn't pass by her without at least trying. He looked at me with that expression, as if what he did was the most natural thing in the world. What did he ask of you? I asked her plainly. Nothing. Answer me! I shouted, not minding the other people around us. Obviously, most of them did turn around by my sudden outburst. She didn't want to answer, but knowing me, she finally looked down and said, he asked me how much it was for that. He just treated her as a prostitute? I'm sorry, he repeated back again. But as I said, she's a very attractive girl, so leave. I said emotionlessly, and without waiting, I repeated the order again. I said leave. He replied to me, Okay, no need to be so cold, jeez. You're meant to be together, you two. I wasn't talking to you. Cass, leave. Wait for me outside while I deal with this bit. What did you just say? The man became visibly agitated the moment he understood my words. No, Tim, come with me. I don't want to be alone. I don't care how he treated me. Just come, alright? Let's stay together. I took a stance, no longer minding her presence next to me. She started hugging me from behind, probably by fear of me jumping on the guy. What are you doing? Stop, you idiot! But before I could finish my sentence, I was hit in the face by the man in front of me. He probably took her action as an opportunity to hit me by surprise. I almost lost my balance, but was somehow able to keep my ground. Just wait. If I stumbled right now, I would fall on her. A second hit came. I had no other choice but to take it yet again. I fell on my knee. At that moment, she finally understood what was happening, and she decided to protect me from up front instead. Leave him alone! Don't you see he's not in any position to fight? The guy did stop by her words, but he did say something along the line of, "Next time, know with whom you are dealing with, punk." Before leaving as though he just conquered the world. I stayed close to the ground for some time while she kept on hugging me. I sensed rage welling up inside of me, and the only thing she thought to say was, "Sorry, baby. So sorry." Her useless apologies only fueled my anger. I got up from the ground without looking at her, and started walking towards the nearest bar. I wanted to be alone. I knew what would happen if she kept on following me, but sure enough, there was nowhere for her to go. I drank a couple of shots on my own. She was sitting next to me, but I ignored her. She didn't ask for a drink herself, nor did she start a conversation, but she kept on looking at me. I was the center of her whole world. That's how I felt at that very moment. After that, I went outside dejectedly. I was so drunk I didn't even know how I was able to walk straight. That is, I was really walking straight to begin with. It was nighttime, maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. She was shivering somehow. She repeated that she was cold multiple times over. I didn't really understand how it was possible since it was relatively hot at that moment. I lit a cigarette and simply looked at one point in space without thinking much of anything until... Please, I'm cold! Oh no, that's a horrible voice. Please? Please. Cold. She wanted me to hold her, ridiculously enough. As if we couldn't get that from my attempt. Get lost. She was annoying. But I want to be close to you. Please. She didn't change gears, even though I was so frigid towards her. She never did, but tonight was even more than that. She outright showed her dependence on me. No. She approached me nonetheless. The moment her hands touched me, I pushed her hard to the ground. Shut. She fell on her butt, her face slightly contorting in pain. Others were looking at me. It seems like I was the bad guy tonight. I couldn't care less. I didn't feel anything. Also, why is there a red light and a green light? That's kind of not the thing that's done for intersections. Usually all green from in one direction. Actually, two directions. Green. First the left turns turn green. Then the straightaways turn green. Then left ways 2 turn green. And then straightaways 2 turn green. I looked at her emotionlessly. She staggered back to her feet, and when she did, she kept her smile on her face, only looking at me. She walked again towards me and said, "Again." She wanted to be pushed again. What the fuck was her problem? Well, not that I really minded. When she touched me again, I pushed her in the same fashion I did before. She again stumbled on the ground, got back on her feet, and walked up to me. I started laughing. How the fuck was she so stupid? Doesn't she understand how mad I am right now? Do I even understand it myself? I pushed her on the ground. I pushed her. On the ground she was laughing. Like me, I guess. But this time, she had a harder time getting back up. People were eyeing us as though we were not part of their world. Another species entirely. You're such an airhead sometimes. My anger had totally dissipated thanks to her stupid act. I helped her back on my feet and we entered the casino anew. Are you gonna get a hotel? She was happy. She had locked arms with me, and she was holding me so tight I had no other choice but to leave her to her own devices. She's your device. Or her device. We walked past a multitude of tables, all of which had different ways of carelessly losing your money. She took notice of one in particular. I'm placing my money on that blackjack. I want to try this one. Give me 20. Alright. I gave it to her happily, somewhat intrigued by her sudden desire to play a game. Since we've got here, she was always simply looking my way, happy to see me gamble with no interested in participating herself. She puts the chip the croupier gave to her on the number 0. Wait, you do know how it works, right? Yeah, what of it? You know you only have one chance out of 37 while playing like this. Sure. The roulette started turning and turning. And soon enough, the little ball slowed down enough to stop inside one slot in particular. It's gonna be 0 because that's the cliche. Person chooses 0, then they get the number 0. Here we go! And sure enough, that slot wasn't the number Wait, what? Yay! I won, babe! How is this fucking possible? Nice one! Yeah, I know. Less than 3% is still more than 0. Still! She had won a little bit more than 700 bucks. She wanted to give it to me, but I didn't accept it. Even if she didn't necessarily work for it, it feels as though she used a lot of her unused luck to win it. She bought us 2 bottles of wine and we finished the night at our hotel. She was on top of me. She looked at me with those passionate eyes of hers. She had a letter opener in her hands. It was lying around on the bedside table, I think. The moment she noticed it, she took it hastily as though she just had a great idea. And she then said, I want to write my name on your body with it. Can I? What the heck? You have a long name! I said. You're really gonna let this happen? You're just gonna say sure and go from there? Oh. Is it like a letter opener? Like, doesn't it like carve into the skin? I need to look this up. Letter opener. Oh shoot, yes it does cut into the skin. The third face. He's writing her name on his body. Yes! Like all the thoughts do. Oh my gosh. Carelessly, without ever breaking eye contact with her, I looked at her every movement with great interest. She applied pressure on my stomach with the edge of the thing, but it didn't do much good. Her name was there alright, but it would probably disappear in less than 5 minutes. It was too soft. Still, she was satisfied with the result. I wasn't. She looked at my stomach, contemplatively. I took that opportunity to grab the hand which she had held the letter opener. Oh, so now you're forcefully doing the thing. Yes, this is all happening while they're having sex. And pushed it hard on my belly. What are you? This is how you do it. If you wanted to appropriate me, do it properly. Appropriate you? I didn't reply to her. My eyes were enough to convey my thoughts. I don't want to hurt you. If you don't wanna, then get off of me. She cried. Right then, she cried, but while doing so, she started carving her name on my body thoroughly. Because those weren't tears of sorrow. She was genuinely happy. I think that's good enough for today. I think that's definitely good enough for today. This game doesn't autosave? The kick? Well, I'm officially surprised. Yeah, I hit the 2 hour mark. No, wait, just an hour and 30 minutes. I started this at like 10:30, I believe. Ah. That was eventful. I'm gonna finish this. I'm going to finish this tomorrow night. As long as I have enough time to do so, I should be okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Yep, Gabriel said it right there. My two streams will be Portal with LT and the ending to this game. The last few. Chapters 9 through 14. I'll definitely have enough time for it all. Unless one of the chapters is insanely long, then I'll have to do something else. Well, now that you've heard my plans, I'll see you all tomorrow. Good night.